If you found out your dead mother had a secret bank account in the name of a fourth daughter who never existed, would you open it? Because three sisters did, and what they discovered destroyed everything they thought they knew about their own family. This is the story of Margaret Chen, a woman who lived what everyone thought was a simple, honest life in Porto Alegre. She raised three daughters, worked as a librarian for 40 years, and never caused any trouble. When she died at 72 from a sudden heart attack, her daughters expected to find some savings, maybe a few family photos, and that's it. What they actually found was so disturbing that one of them still refuses to talk about it today. And it all started with a single letter that arrived 3 days after the funeral. Ana, Beatrice, and Carla Chen were always close. Not in that way where sisters pretend to like each other at family parties, but genuinely close. They talked every day, shared secrets, and had that WhatsApp group where they sent memes at 3 a.m. Their mother, Margaret, was the center of everything. She was that type of woman who remembered everyone's birthday, who made cake every Sunday, and who never, ever raised her voice. So when she died suddenly, without warning, it was like the ground had disappeared from under their feet. But they supported each other like they always did. They held the funeral, cried together, and started that boring part of organizing the deceased's documents. You know how it is. Electric bill, water bill, cancel cards, those things. Ana, the oldest at 38, was responsible for going through her mother's papers. She was always the organized one, the one who had spreadsheets for everything. Beatrice, the middle child at 35, helped when she could between shifts at the hospital where she worked as a nurse. And Carla, the youngest at 31, was 7 months pregnant and couldn't do much physical work, so she mostly gave moral support. Then 3 days after the funeral, a letter arrived. It wasn't an email, it was an actual letter, one of those paper ones, with that official white envelope. The sender was National Bank, downtown branch. Ana opened it thinking it was just another one of her mother's accounts to cancel. But when she read it, her blood ran cold. The letter said the following: Dear Chen family, we deeply regret the loss of Margaret Chen. We would like to inform you that there is a savings account at our branch under the responsibility of the deceased, registered in the name of Laura Chen. To proceed with the necessary procedures, we request the presence of Laura Chen, or legal representative, with documentation. Laura Chen. That name meant nothing to Ana. She immediately called Beatrice. Bea, do you know anyone named Laura Chen in our family? Laura? No. Why? A letter just came from the bank saying Mom had an account in the name of someone called Laura Chen. Silence on the other end of the line. That heavy kind of silence, you know? Then Beatrice answered slowly. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's a bank error? But it wasn't an error. Ana called the bank right away. The attendant confirmed, yes, there was an active account in the name of Laura Chen, date of birth March 19th, 1983, daughter of Margaret Chen. The account had been opened 28 years ago and had been receiving monthly deposits since then. 28 years, monthly deposits, daughter of Margaret Chen. There was just one problem. Margaret Chen only had 3 daughters, Ana, Beatrice, and Carla. There never was any Laura. The 3 sisters met that same night at their mother's house, that simple 3-bedroom house where they grew up. It had that smell that a mother's house has, you know? Mix of old coffee, glycerin soap, and something you can't identify but makes you feel at home. They sat at the kitchen table, the same table where they did homework as kids, and put all their mother's documents on top. Birth certificates of all 3. Marriage certificate with their father, who had died 15 years ago in a car accident, his death certificate, house deed. But nothing, absolutely nothing about a 4th daughter. Guys, this is crazy, Carla said, rubbing her pregnant belly. Mom wouldn't hide a daughter from us for 28 years. That makes no sense. But the deposits, Carla, Ana replied, looking at the statements she had gotten from the bank. Look at this. Every 15th of each month, without missing a single time, Mom deposited 1,200 Rs into this account for 28 years. Beatrice did the math quickly. That's over 400,000 Rs. Silence took over the kitchen. 400,000 Rs. Their mother, who complained when French bread went up 20 cents, who only bought clothes on sale, who used the same car for 20 years, had saved 400,000 Rs in a secret account. Wait, Beatrice suddenly stood up. 1983. Laura would have been born in 1983. So what? Carla asked. I was born in 89, Anna in 86. If Laura was born in 83, she would be the oldest of all of us. Anna felt a chill down her spine. Mom would have been 19 in 83. She married Dad at 21 in 85, before me. The pieces started falling into place in a very strange way. Had Margaret had a daughter before getting married? A daughter she never mentioned? But why? And where was this daughter now? They spent the entire night turning the house upside down. They searched every drawer, every closet, every box in the attic. And there, in the dusty attic, inside an old leather suitcase that none of them remembered ever seeing before, Beatrice found it. A yellowed envelope. Inside were photos of a baby that none of them recognized. On the back of one of the photos, written in their mother's handwriting, was, Laura, 3 months, my eternal love. Carla started crying. Not that loud crying, but that silent crying that hurts more. Who is this child? Why did Mom never talk about her? But there was more. At the bottom of the suitcase, a document, a birth certificate. Laura Chen, born March 19, 1983. Daughter of Margaret Chen and father undeclared. Place of birth, Caxias do Sul, Rio Grande do Sul. Caxias do Sul. Their mother had grown up in Caxias. She had only moved to Porto Alegre when she married their father. She had this child before meeting Dad, Anna said, more to herself than to the others. She was 19 and had a daughter alone. But where is this daughter now? Beatrice asked. Why did we never meet her? Did Mom give her up for adoption? They kept searching, and they found more things. Letters. Dozens of letters, all addressed to Margaret, all coming from the same place, Santa Maria Home, Caxias do Sul. The oldest letters were from 1984, when Laura would have been 1 year old. Anna opened one of the letters with trembling hands. It was from the home's director, someone called Sister Teresa. The letter said, Dear Margaret, I hope this letter finds you well. I wanted to inform you that little Laura is developing very well. She's already crawling and always smiles when she sees the sisters. I know your decision wasn't easy, but know that she is receiving all the love and care here. We hope for your visit next month, as agreed. Margaret had placed her daughter in an orphanage, in a children's home. She was 19, alone, with no family to support her, no money, no structure at all, and she had made the hardest decision of her life. The letters continued over the years. Sister Teresa sent regular updates about Laura, that she had learned to walk, that she liked to draw, that she was shy but affectionate, that she always asked about her mother. That last part broke the hearts of all 3 sisters. And then, in a letter from 1995, when Laura would have been 12, the bomb, Margaret, it is with deep sadness that I write this letter. Laura passed away last week due to complications from pneumonia that worsened rapidly. We did everything we could, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. She spoke of you in her final moments. The funeral will be on Thursday. We are all heartbroken. Sister Teresa. The letter had stains. Stains that seemed to have been made by tears that fell on the paper a long time ago. Laura had died at 12 years old, and their mother had never, ever talked about this with anyone. My God, Carla whispered. Mom carried this alone all these years. But there was still one piece of the puzzle missing. If Laura had died in 1995, why did the bank account continue to be active? Why did the deposits continue for another 28 years until Margaret's death? Anna went back to the bank documents, looked more carefully, and saw. The account wasn't just receiving deposits, it was making automatic monthly payments. All to the same place, Santa Maria Home, Caxias do Sul. She kept sending money to the orphanage, Anna said, her voice choked. Even after Laura died, all these years, 400,000 reais, all to the orphanage where her daughter lived. The three sisters sat in silence, processing all of that. Their mother had carried this pain in secret for decades, had worked hard, saved every penny, lived simply, all to be able to send money to the place where the daughter she had to abandon spent her few years of life. "We need to go there," Beatrice said. "We need to go to Caxias, see this place with our own eyes." 2 weeks later, the three were driving to Caxias do Sul. Carla shouldn't have been traveling pregnant at almost 8 months, but she insisted. "I need to know. I need to understand." Santa Maria Home still existed. It was an old but well-maintained building, painted light yellow, with a garden in front where some children were playing. When they rang the bell, they were greeted by a woman in her 60s who introduced herself as Sister Beatrice, the current director. "Are you Margaret's daughters?" she asked, and there was something in her eyes, something that seemed like expectation. "Yes," Anna replied. "Did you know our mother?" "Know her?" Sister Beatrice smiled. "Margaret was this home's greatest benefactor. Without her, we would have closed our doors a long time ago. Come, please. There's something you need to see." She led them inside. The home was clean, organized, full of children's drawings on the walls. Sister Beatrice guided them to a room on the second floor. It was a small library, full of children's books and some little tables where children could read. "The Laura Chen Library," Sister Beatrice said, pointing to a plaque on the wall. "Your mother built this 10 years ago. She said Laura loved books." The three sisters looked around. There were hundreds of books, new, colorful, carefully organized. In the corner of the room, there was a framed photo, the same photo they had found in the attic. Laura, 3 months old, smiling. "There's more," Sister Beatrice continued. She opened a door at the back of the library. It was a dormitory. The Margaret Chen Dormitory. She completely renovated this space 5 years ago. Said she wanted the children to have a beautiful place to sleep. There were 8 beds, each with a new bedspread, fluffy pillows, a small individual closet. Nothing luxurious, but everything done with care and love. "Your mother visited once a year," Sister Beatrice said. "Every March 19th, Laura's birthday. She spent the day here, played with the children, read stories, never missed a year. The children loved her. They called her Grandma Margaret." Beatrice, the nurse, was crying openly now. "She came here every year, and we didn't know anything." "She never wanted you to know," Sister Beatrice said gently. "Said it was too much pain. That she was afraid you would judge her for the decision she made when she was young. But she also said that you three were the light of her life. That she managed to be happy again because of you." Anna asked, her voice trembling. "Did you know Laura?" "Not personally. She passed away before I arrived here. But Sister Teresa, who took care of her, is still alive. She's 92 and lives in the home's annex. Would you like to meet her?" Sister Teresa was tiny, all wrinkled, but with bright, lively blue eyes. When she found out who they were, she held all 3 of their hands and started talking. Laura was a special child, quiet but very affectionate. She had a lung disease since she was a baby. Back then there weren't the treatments we have today. Margaret came to visit whenever she could, but she was so young, so without resources. She cried every time she had to leave. "What was she like, Laura?" Carla asked. "She looked like you," Sister Teresa smiled. Same dark eyes, same straight hair. She liked to draw, drew her mother all the time, drew what she imagined it would be like to have a family. She knew she was sick. In her last days, She made me promise I would take care of her mother. Imagine, a 12-year-old child worried about her mother. The old sister got up with difficulty and went to a drawer. She took out an old notebook, the pages yellowed. She asked me to keep this, said that maybe one day her mother would want it. It was a drawing notebook, page after page of drawings made by a child, drawings of a woman who must have been Margaret, drawings of a house with a garden, drawings of a girl playing with other children. And on the last page, written in childish handwriting, "Dear Mother, I know you love me. Don't be sad. One day we'll meet again. I love you forever. Laura." The three sisters cried. They cried for the sister they never knew. They cried for the mother who carried this pain in silence. They cried for all the years of secrecy and loneliness. But there was one more thing. Sister Beatrice handed an envelope to Anna. "Your mother left this here 3 months ago, said that if something happened to her, it was to be given to you." Anna opened it with trembling hands. It was a letter. The handwriting was their mother's. "My beloved daughters, if you're reading this, it means you finally discovered about Laura. I ask forgiveness for keeping this secret. I was afraid of what you would think of me. I was 19 when I got pregnant. Laura's father abandoned me. My own family kicked me out. I had no money, nowhere to live, no way to care for a baby. Santa Maria Home took me in and cared for my daughter when I couldn't. I visited whenever I could, but it was never enough. When Laura died, a part of me died too. But then I met your father, and you three came, and I learned it's possible to be happy again even with a broken heart. You saved me. The money I sent to the home was my way of keeping Laura alive, of making sure other children wouldn't go through what she went through. Please don't judge me too harshly. I loved Laura, but I also loved you with every piece of my heart. Mom." The Chen sisters kept up the monthly deposits to Santa Maria Home. Actually, they increased the amount. They created a foundation in the name of Margaret and Laura Chen that to this day helps orphanages and foster homes in Rio Grande do Sul. Carla named her daughter, who was born 2 months after this trip, Laura. Anna and Beatrice visit the home every March 19th, continuing their mother's tradition. They read stories to the children, play with them, and always talk about the two women who inspired everything. The Laura Chen Library got a new wing. The Margaret Chen dormitory was expanded, and at the entrance to the home, there's now a plaque. Dedicated to Laura Chen, 1983-1995, and Margaret Chen, 1964-2036. Mother and daughter never forgotten. The three sisters learned something important. Everyone carries secrets. Everyone has pain they don't show. And sometimes, the people we think we know completely are the ones who keep the deepest stories. Margaret Chen was never perfect. She was a teenage single mother who made an impossible choice. She was a woman who carried guilt and pain for decades. But she was also someone who transformed her tragedy into something beautiful, who used her pain to help other children, who loved all her daughters, the one she lost, and the 3 she raised, with the same intensity. Laura Chen's bank account today has a balance of over 1 million riets, fed by donations from the 3 sisters and other people who learned the story. Every cent goes to ensuring that children in foster homes have books to read, comfortable beds to sleep in, and the chance for a better life. And in Laura's drawing notebook, the one she made before dying, there's a specific drawing that no one had noticed before. It's of 4 girls, 1 bigger and 3 smaller, all holding hands, as if somehow that 12-year-old child knew that one day her sisters would discover her, as if she knew that even without ever having met, they would be a family. The perfect copy wasn't Laura being a copy of Margaret. It was Margaret's love multiplying, first in Laura, then in Anna, Beatrice, and Carla, and now in every child who passes through Santa Maria Home and feels a little bit of the love that a mother felt for a daughter she could never raise. Sometimes the most beautiful stories are born from the deepest pains. And sometimes the secrets we discover about the people we love don't make them worse. They make them more human, more real, more worthy of love. This story teaches us that judging other people's choices without knowing the pain they carry is way too easy. Their mother wasn't perfect, but she transformed her greatest sadness into something that changed the lives of hundreds of children. Sometimes the people we love keep secrets not out of malice, but because the pain is too big to share. And when we discover these secrets, we can choose between judging or trying to understand. The three sisters chose to understand, and that made all the difference. Just like in this story, the people around us are fighting battles we don't see. We can never forget that. Have you ever discovered a family secret that completely changed the way you saw someone? Tell us in the comments. Like the video if you made it to the end and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this.